Merry Christmas at your leisure, fans. Join us for our final Christmas celebration at This Is the Place Heritage Park for sweet treats, songs, and sleigh bells.
And Reece Stein takes us to his childhood hometown to do some Christmas shopping for some rather unique gifts in Highland Park.
Then we go on a wild chase for a carving from the bandit Butch Cassidy that's as elusive as the outlaw himself. Will we find it? At Your Leisure is next.
Mom, I want a pony for Christmas.
That's one
I want a pony.
That's one heck of a pony, son. Those are big ponies.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Chad Booth.
And I'm Rhea Rossi Booth.
And we are up here at This Is the Place Heritage State Park for Candlelight Christmas. What a marvelous event. We had so much fun up here a couple of weeks ago, we felt like we just had to come back when we heard about this event.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's like what Christmas was 150 years ago. Beautiful pioneer spirit, and snow's on the ground, and we got our horses and our wagon, and we're ready to have some Christmas fun.
It would have been a horse and sleigh had there been more snow, but the wagon is just fine, and what a great outdoor way to show up. Now, we're in good hands because we got a great draft team up here, and we've got James and the wagon master, Wyatt, here. You got any instructions for us, Wyatt?
Sit down and enjoy the ride.
There you go. Sit down and enjoy the ride.
Well, we're going to follow those instructions very closely. Let's find out a little bit more about Candlelight Christmas.
Imagine being able to actually step into Dickens' Christmas Carol. Coming here and learning the 19th century traditions of what it was like to be a pioneer in this wonderful valley that we live in. The realities are so much here to do. Imagine being able to come up and learn the history of the gingerbread cookie and then have a bite of one that's actually made right here. A lot of people think we're not open all year round, but the reality is we're here all the time. And we have winter activities such as horseback riding, not to mention our visitor center is always open. But this event, really it's all about families, coming up and making this a family tradition. I hope you get to go home with a Christmas ornament, maybe a candle. How about, the experience of visiting with Scrooge and Cratchit, for example.
In fact, Scrooge became so impressed with the things that had happened that night, he began giving away his treasure. And that's the direction we've been given tonight.
But the reality is you get to come up and you get to see lights like you've never seen them before. You get to see people like me in crazy costumes. Sorry, I got the tallest hat there in the village though. So of course Father Christmas is here, so you got to make sure he's one of your stops along the way. And at one of the houses you can write a letter to Father Christmas. And while you're at it, send it the old-fashioned way by putting it in the fire and sending it straight up the chimney. Not to mention in the saddle shop you'll learn all about the 12 days of Christmas. Really, what is the true tradition and what it means. Our blacksmith is here working on projects. We have artisans that have a number of things here available. In the hospital, you'll get to pick up some ornaments. Not to mention we have upstairs our lace maker and of course some fantastic holiday quilts. You can't have anything better than the Heritage Carolers. We actually spent 6 months with our carolers getting them ready to go. So if you can imagine 2 wonderful choruses just waiting to sing for you, and they're dressed just like I am.
Hello, Father Christmas.
Hello.
Hey, how come you're called Father Christmas and not Santa Claus?
Well, 'cause I'm from the old country.
Oh, what's the old country?
Germany.
There you go. I'm part German. I should know these things.
Yes, you should. You should study up on that.
I'm sorry, Santa, I'm going to instantly be on the naughty list. When you said old country, I thought you meant the senior center.
No, not there yet.
Well, you know what? You never age. You always look the same. You
I
have
know.
Such a good-looking, handsome beard there.
Yeah.
When you come up here, there's a naughty and nice list that you get to sign, and you did tell Santa Claus whether you're naughty or nice.
Yeah. So I don't need to go into detail because I know you already know what I want.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
well.
you, Father Christmas. He's really, come see him. He's awesome.
Well, right now we're going to go to something that you might find on your list, and that is our Where To segment for this week.
The Outlaws of the West. There are almost as many legends about them as there were miles of barren landscape for them to hide in. Places like the Hideout, Robber's Roost, and Hole in the Wall all conjure up images of the bandits' past and memories of the frontier. Jesse James, Billy the Kid, the Sundance Kid, and of course Butch Cassidy. Many Butch artifacts have been curated already, along with the tales of his exploits. They can be found as far north as the Jarvie Ranch and as far south as Circleville and on into Arizona. So when the tales of a new piece of Butch art surface, there are adventure seekers and history buffs bound to find them. This is such a tale.
So we are in Garfield County, and we are going to be going on a ride today to find Butch Cassidy's signature, actually. We heard that it was out here, and we want to go see it. It's going to be a good time.
Jared and Tyler Jorgensen live in Richfield, Utah, and are joined today by Brett Stewart, a razor-riding cowboy and retired real estate baron. Stewart is the master of cowboy history, and the Jorgensen boys are his Padawans.
So growing up in Richfield, I heard the name Butch Cassidy quite often, but I never really found out much about him. When I found out that he carved his name somewhere out here, we were really interested in coming out here, riding, and finding it. I got to look up a little bit more of the history of Butch Cassidy, and it was really fun doing that, especially that we're out here on this ride.
Given the treasure map they have, a phone picture, and a GPS coordinate, our adventurers know there will be some riding, some hiking, and maybe even a little climbing to get there.
As you can see, there's not a lot of banks out here or trains to rob. So he was out here, it's very remote, he was out here hiding. Butch Cassidy grew to start leading a gang or a group called the Wild Bunch. Just kind of took off from there and started earning his reputation.
After robbing the mining town of Castlegate, Utah in 1897, the Wild Bunch found refuge in the Robber's Roost area. The area is filled with ancient artwork left by those who traveled through.
It's pretty obvious there was a big presence of people here. You know, back in the days, we got petroglyphs all over the canyon walls. You couldn't come out here, find arrowheads once in a while, and it's pretty cool stuff to see, really.
But with so much history in one place, even when you know exactly what you're looking for, you can still leave empty-handed.
Well, we drove, we rode, we hiked, and we climbed. We had certain coordinates and led us to believe that it was on top of a plateau. Climbed as high as we could, and we couldn't really get past a certain point without certain gear. Decided not to quite risk it, so it looks like we're gonna have to do this another day, but it was sure fun, and it is beautiful up here. Definitely well worth the ride, well worth the hike.
Unfortunately, the carving of Butch Cassidy's signature turned out to be as elusive as the bandit himself, but our boys' misfortune only fuels their determination to come back and try again.
Well, we'll be back.
Yeah, Butch Cassidy's not getting away from us that easy.
Nope.
Hopefully, on the boys' next adventure to Robber's Roost, Butch Cassidy's carving doesn't slip away again. For At Your Leisure and this week's Where To Adventure, I'm Joe Davis.
This Christmas, give the perfect gift from Stedman's Recreation in Tooele. You can enjoy a Honda snowblower, Honda generator. The kids will love a 2018 Polaris Outlaw 50, 2019 Honda CRF 50F, a 2018 Polaris H150, and for the ultimate family gift, a 2019 Razor XP Turbo S 4-seater. At Stedman's, you'll find a Christmas gift that will be enjoyed all year long.
Stedman's Recreation in Tooele. You may think it's 300 miles out here, but remember, it's only 30 miles back.
It's time for the Polaris Holiday Sales Event. Get huge holiday deals on the world's best-selling off-road lineup. Chase adventure on a legendary Sportsman. Get more done with a hard-working Ranger. Or attack the off-road with a high-performance Razor. Celebrate the season with rebates up to $2,000 during the Polaris Holiday Sales Event.
Yeah, we're folks bound by traditions. Whether it's holiday time or vacation time, make sure that one of your traditions is a stop at the Creamery in Beaver, Utah. Delicious cheese direct from the factory, ice cream, tasty treats, crafts, and gifts of all kinds. And it's the perfect place to get a bowl of creamy mac and cheese. Start your new tradition the next time you're headed our way. The Creamery in Beaver, Utah. Farm, meet table.
Conquer the summit and catch that Ski-Doo feeling with the 2019 Ski-Doo Mountain Sleds.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. I'm Scott Huntsman. This What's New segment this week is going to involve Project Ruby Red. We're going to install some new bumpers on this bad boy, rock crawling bumpers from LOD, as well as a new worn winch and a spare tire carrier that's going to go along and complete the whole package. Let's get started with this bad boy. So today what we want to do is replace the bumpers, both front and rear, with nice off-roading rock crawler bumpers made by LOD. And I chose the LOD brand because of their quality of design, the angles to which we'll be able to approach obstacles. The LOD is just a good design for all of that. If you look at the bumpers on the Jeep now, you'll see that they're the stock original plastic ones. The plastic over 9 years is faded, they look gray. We're also installing every off-roader's necessity and the most valuable tool that he will have, and that's a winch. I can hang this Jeep from a tree if I want to with that winch. It's also got a built-in air compressor as well. So what we're gonna start with, of course, is removing the bumpers from the vehicle. We're gonna get the stock bumpers off, get those disassembled. We'll get the lights out of the front, and then we'll assemble the lighting systems and such into the replacement bumpers. We'll install the winch onto the winch mounting plate. That's what mounts first onto the Jeep, and then the outer housing bolts to that. We'll install the parts, we'll line them up, and then we'll also be installing bumper-mounted spare tire carrier. Because of the fact that the bumpers are so functional on this Jeep, and especially off-roading, we'll hit obstacles with them. We're gonna bump them. We gotta make sure that the hardware is good, tight, grade 8 bolts. We want them torqued properly. We want it aligned properly and fit properly, because not only is it gonna be functional, it's gonna be looking cool too. I love those bumpers. I love the way they went on. I love the craftsmanship of the product, because really, as far as alignment and such, we ran into very, very little trouble. I love the spare tire carrier. I love the way that it opens with one function to open the door and the swing away. It's built very strong. You can see by the bearings and the spindle that thing is just tough as nails. I mean, that thing just couldn't be any stronger. Most of all, it looks fantastic. I know that my wife's gonna be really excited to drive this thing. She wants to show it off, and I'm really excited to put it on the trail and try it out. Okay, hey, we're all done with this. It turned out great. I really like the looks of these LOD bumpers, and I love the worn winch up front. Ready to try them out. Hey, if this looks a bit too much for you, just come and see us over here at Tunex in South Jordan or West Valley. We offer these products and we install them as well. Stay tuned, more At Your Leisure in a moment.
The Utah Farm Bureau began as a collection of farmers supporting each other to raise the food we enjoy. Today, Farm Bureau membership encompasses everyone, whether ranchers, growers, or just everyday folks like you and me. Members enjoy discounts on items like vehicles and ATVs, or insurance that's very affordable. You don't have to be a farmer to join, and dues are small, but together we make a big difference in keeping our food supply local and abundant. Join Utah Farm Bureau.
Give us the work no one else wants to do. We don't just go against the grain, we grow it. Give us the frontiers, the places where success is measured and pushed limits. Give us the middle of nowhere, where the only map is your buddy's tread marks. This life, no one's born ready for it.
From the trail to the heart of the backcountry, discover that Ski-Doo feeling with the 2019 Ski-Doo Trail and Crossover sleds.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We're up, this is the place Heritage Park in front of the Pine Valley Chapel, which is an exact replica of a chapel that we've been to down in Washington County.
It's beautiful. They're doing a cute little thing in there called Silent Night. And as of now, it's like 200 years since that beautiful song was written, and they tell a little story about how it was a Catholic priest that was in Austria, and the church organ broke like 2 hours before Christmas service, and he just panicked. And then he remembered he had written a poem like 2 years before that, and it was Silent Night, but he didn't have any music to it. So then he runs across the street and finds a composer, and he writes it like in 2 hours by guitar, and then they run back over to the church and do their service, and they said it was just spectacular, and they've been singing it every year since.
Ever since, so the show must go on. There's proof. Well, right now, there are other things going on. You know, up here, there are several faces of Christmas. Let's enjoy them for a minute.
Well, the cow is what, 8 maids of milking? That's your servants working. And then look, 9 ladies dancing, 10 lords a-leaping. But wait a minute. 1 is a bird, 2 is a bird, 3 is a bird, 4 is a bird, 6 is a bird, 7 is a bird. What's the pattern here?
They're all things that you... Then you'll throw your dice.
Is it real?
Well, you'll have to find out.
It's real. And here we have the very first Christmas. This is a live nativity scene that they have here in the livery stable, and it is fabulous. A live precious baby with Mary and Joseph, and I think I'm gonna cry. It's beautiful. Merry Christmas, it's so beautiful.
Anyway, right now we're gonna go away to Reece Stein along the way, and he has an entirely different picture of Christmas. So let's check in with Reece.
I'm Reece Stein, at your leisure, along the way in my boyhood neighborhood of Highland Park at a holiday gift store with lots of great outdoor ideas, some just for the birds. We get the nickel tour of Backyard Birds on Highland Drive at 27th South with store manager J.B. Leonard.
Christmas tree ornaments. Over here, a lot of different kinds of owls. Some light up at night. Even some with thermometers.
Yeah.
The seed houses, seed wreaths.
Tiffany lamps. It's a small space, but jammed with holiday gift suggestions, especially for anyone who likes birds.
We have all kinds of wild birding supplies. Everything for feeding birds, providing water for them, shelter, nest boxes.
And bird feeders. Man, do they have bird feeders. All shapes and sizes of bird feeder. Some that are so obscure they have to tell you, in fact, they are bird feeders. Feeders disguised at bird houses, colorful feeders, novelty feeders, all kinds of hummingbird feeders. Bird feeders bring in dozens of kinds of songbirds to brighten up the yard of anyone on your holiday list.
We've got the seed bells and small cottages, some ornaments that you can hang on trees outside that are covered in seed.
Well, it brightens up the yard and attracts the birds.
Right.
But there is so much more. Seasonal tree ornaments of all kinds.
We have socks, so a great line of socks that are fun and brightly colored that don't exactly match, but they do.
Wooden puzzle boxes, a wall full of wall clocks, another wall that stares right back at you, shiny spinny things, and tons of hanging downer things. Backyard Birds is literally jammed from the floor to the ceiling. Shoppers flock to the store and crowd the aisles.
I'm here to get very special gifts for very special friends.
This is a good place to do it?
Oh, I'll tell you, it's sparkling and it's so much fun to get someone into bird watching.
More wonderful holiday ornaments and colorful birds of a different feather. Stocking stuffers for just about every persuasion. Not a chain store, Backyard Birds is free to go crazy.
If there's something out there that we see and we like, we bring it in.
With someone on your list like chimes, this place has chimes. Precision-tuned Woodstock wind chimes in every imaginable size. Shopper Brooke Chittister struck gold here.
Well, we decided this year we're doing a bird Christmas tree outside. And so we're going to make our own ornaments. But then we came into Backyard Birds and there are all sorts of great houses and other ornaments. So we're going to just buy some here.
The place is virtually splitting at the seams. The gift ideas spill out the front door.
I'm doing some Christmas shopping and I frequent Backyard Birds quite often. I love the store. I love to support local.
Backyard Birds is a tiny store with big gift ideas.
We've been told there's nothing else like this store out there.
And at Backyard Birds, Alex will even wrap your gifts for you. Reece Stein at your leisure along the way in my old stomping grounds of Highland Park.
There's a little place on a Utah map where I was raised, where my heart's at, where the sagebrush grows wild and high, and the stars come out at night. Oh, there ain't nothing like being raised in the basin with a Ute reservation, skiing starvation, that Duchesne County life.
The trail isn't about point A to B, it's everything in between. An adventure, a reunion, your escape. It may not be the path of least resistance, and we like it that way, because the road less traveled will always lead you somewhere. The new 50-inch Maverick Trail, Can-Am engineering for the trails and all who ride them.
Crisp, colorful, a world in transition. You don't have to travel the back roads of Maine to explore autumn in all of its glory. Beaver County offers fall in unique splendor, with drives along forgotten canyons and hikes through meadows exploding with vibrant hues of red and yellow. Hit the road with your family and discover a side of Beaver County you never knew you were missing. Autumn is fleeting, so don't hesitate. Beaver County, it's time to experience the real Utah.
It's time for the Polaris Holiday Sales Event. Get huge holiday deals on the world's best-selling off-road lineup. Chase adventure on a legendary sportsman. Get more done with a hard-working Ranger. Or attack the off-road with a high-performance racer. Celebrate the season with rebates up to $2,000 during the Polaris Holiday Sales Event.
You put in a little powdered sugar, you close it up, you shake it back, you shake it this way, you shake it that way, and then you have sugary powdered donuts.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We're at the Candlelight Christmas up at the This Is the Place Heritage Park. This is part of the Utah State Park System. And we're having powdered donuts. This is a Brigham donut.
And really good hot chocolate.
Yes, made by Judy, of course.
Yeah.
All hot chocolate at Christmas is made by Judy. Well, there are a lot of things that you can do up here throughout the entire year. Mark your calendar, because usually the first weekend of December through like the weekend just before Christmas, they run this Candlelight Christmas, and it has been so much fun.
Oh my gosh, the kids are having so much fun up here with their moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas. It's really cool.
This donut operation, Rhea, is fascinating because there's so much going on. I mean, they make the donuts right there. Phil has squishy these
I know, they make them for you right back there so the kids can see how they make the donuts, and it's just really sweet. This is a very popular little house. And this used to be like a theater or something, right?
Yeah, this is like a replica social hall, or is you?
Yeah. Oh, so I need to eat this?
Eat that.
Okay.
It's spongy, sweet, and powdery. And here, here's yours.
Really good.
Take it and watch about next week's show.
Next week, we're off to Hardware Ranch Elk Festival to celebrate the beautiful sights and sounds of another elk viewing season.
Then Reece takes us fly fishing out on one of the Utah's favorite trout fishing streams, the Lower Provo River.
Finally, as our year comes to an end, we wrap up 2018 with a highlight of some of the AYL crew's favorite adventures throughout the year.
Next week's show looks great as always, and Rhea, I am so excited because we're only a couple of days from Christmas.
I know.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. What a beautiful, beautiful place to spend Christmas time. This is just, we're so blessed.
True, and what a wonderful way to end our show. Mark this on your calendar for next year. This is a thing that you've got to make a family tradition out of.
Truly, and Merry Christmas to all of our wonderful sponsors and everybody that watches our show. I hope you have a blessed Merry Christmas. We really do.
So do I. Just remember, as you go through life, there's adventure around every bend.
You just got to get out there and create your own adventure.
At your leisure.
Good tidings of Christmas and a happy new year. For we all love figgy pudding, we all love figgy pudding, we all love figgy pudding, so bring some out here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings of Christmas and a happy new year. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a happy